Good morning, Ms. Howard. You may begin.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I am Michelle Howard, the Director of Small Business Programs Office, and I bring you greetings this morning from our General Manager, Mr. Randy Clark, and our VP and Chief Procurement Officer, Ms. Fifi Magosi. I want to welcome you to our first, for 2026, our first virtual educational presentation to help support your business, and we are excited about what's going to take place today. I also want to say thank you to our presenter. Hey, when you start the year off like this, there's great things that's going to happen for the rest of the year. So thank you for participating today in WMATA Small Business Programs Office virtual outreach, protecting your identity, why every small business needs a registered agent by Miss Amanda Beal. This is in collaboration with our partners at the DC Small Business Development Center Network. Please know that at WMATA, your participation is key, and we encourage all of our small businesses to get certified with WMATA if you're not. Please check out our website and learn more about our programs. We are definitely open for business, and we want you to be a part of our contracting opportunities. So always remember that we are your metro, the way forward. Please put all questions in the chat and remember to fill out your surveys that will be sent to you after the presentation. These surveys are very important. They help us to plan programs and events that can benefit or support your business development and growth. So make sure you fill them out, get that information back to us so we can plan things that you need for your business. Thank you for attending today's session. Before we get started, I want to bring on my friend, my partner. I'm going to bring on Mr. Charles Mott from the DC Small Business Development Center at Howard University in Washington, D.C. He is currently the Associate Director there with both administrative and business counseling responsibilities. Charles has over 40 years in the defense and management consulting industry with large and small firms in management and team leadership capacities. He has over 30 of those years of experience and knowledge in small business management and leadership and management as a business owner, an employee, a business counselor, and a consultant with small firms. He also has certificate in project management from the University of California, Berkeley. He has an MBA in new ventures and small business management from Cal State. And he is a certified project management professional, PMP, with the Project Management Institute. So without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to my good friend, Charles, and he is going to bring on Amanda for us today. Thanks, Charles.
Thanks, Michelle. I bring greetings from our Executive Director at the DCSBDC, Mr. Carl Brown, and the whole team at the DCSBDC at Howard University. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker for the day. I'm going to read off her official bio. Amanda is a serial entrepreneur, business compliance educator, and the founder of MYB Agency, where she focuses on helping small business owners protect the companies they are building. With a background in pre-law, banking, and small business operations, she brings a practical and accessible approach to navigating compliance and business requirements. She truly wants to see business owners win and regularly speaks on topics such as accessing capital, compliance gaps, digital risks, and the foundational obligations every business owner must meet. And I can vouch for the compliance piece because many of our small business owners that we counsel often face compliance challenges, and it's great having Amanda in our corner. She's a strong advocate for small business, and we appreciate her, and I think you're going to be in for a great treat today. So with that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Amanda, and thank you, Amanda.
Oh my goodness. First of all, thank you for that warm introduction, as well as just thank you to WMATA as well for extending the invitation for me to spend some time with you all to talk about one of my favorite things, which is compliance. And if you all just give me one moment, I'll go ahead and share our screen so that we can get this presentation started. I'm super excited to talk about it with you today. Awesome. And if we're good to go, I know that compliance isn't the most exciting thing or topic for most of us, but it's absolutely critical to protect everything you have built as a business owner. So I want us to keep that in mind while we go through today's presentation. But before we get started, I want to tell you about Sarah. Sarah spent 8 years building her retail business, actually here in the DC area. So you can imagine 8 years of early mornings, late nights, sacrifice, and hard work. Her business was thriving. She was doing really well in business. But then one day when she was out of town for a family emergency, her son, teenage son, signed for some documents that were delivered to her home. He left them on the counter. Sorry, he left them on the counter. And when she got home a week later, she noticed the papers, but she didn't understand the importance of it and that it was actually time sensitive. So when she realized how important it was, by that time it was too late. She had received a judgment from the court against her business, which was approximately $45,000, plus she had to pay legal fees. So you can imagine taking on a toll or a bill that high and expensive. Her business actually ended up closing 6 months later. The sad part is that something like this didn't have to happen. And today I'm going to speak with you about how you can avoid that going forward. So, like Charles said and the wonderful team at the WMATA Small Business Programs Office, I am Amanda Beal, your compliance advisor with MYB Agency, where we mind your business for you and address any compliance gaps that you may have. And today we'll discuss why every small business owner needs a registered agent. Excuse me, I'm fighting a cold today, but before we get started, I need to share an important disclaimer. Everything I am going to share with you today is educational. It's meant to help you understand what a registered agent is and help you decide what's best for your business and bring awareness to the topic of a registered agent. So please note that these opinions are mine and not those of WMATA. And with that being said, we know that we are talking about registered agents today, but I'm wondering which best describes your current registered agent setup. So in the chat, please feel free to share with me which best describes your setup. Do you act as your own registered agent? Are you currently using a professional service? Do you have a friend or family member listed as your registered agent? Do you have an attorney or an accountant who handles this service for you? Or are you not sure? Or you just don't have a business yet? But don't be shy. There are no wrong answers here, but I would love to gauge where everyone is at this moment.
So in the chat, we have two that are a registered agent, one that is a professional registered agent, and one that is an attorney or accountant is their registered agent,
Oh, well, that's
and
good.
one that's not registered.
Okay, good. So it looks like we have a good range of at least recommended or on file registered agents. So that's a good start that we have at least some on file. You'll be surprised, you'll be surprised how many businesses you have to have a registered agent, but they don't actually use a professional service. So that's good to know. So by the end of today, the goal is for you to walk away understanding the one legal requirement that most small business owners overlook, the consequences of getting it wrong, and how to protect your business. And also you'll learn the importance of separating personal and business in this context. So throughout the chat today or throughout the day, I would also love to hear more about your experiences with some of your registered agent professional services that you may be using. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Before we can understand how to prevent Sarah's situation from happening to us, we need to understand what a registered agent is and why every business is required to have one. So a registered agent is a person or entity that you officially designate to receive legal documents and official correspondence on behalf of your business. You might hear them be referred to as a statutory agent or an agent of process, and these all mean the same thing. And they handle your business being notified that you're being sued. They accept your official state correspondence, tax notices, and compliance reminders. Oh, also an annual report notifications. And this is the thing, they're not optional. I have to say that over and over again. Registered agents are not optional. Every single state in the country requires that LLCs, corporations, nonprofits, and all other formal business entities to have a registered agent on file. You literally cannot form a business entity without designating one, and you must maintain one continuously as long as your business exists. So think of your registered agent as your business's official point of contact for anything legal or regulatory. It is mandatory that they are, like the registered agent is at the address that you have on file so that the government and courts know how and where they can reach your business during normal business hours. So let's get specific about what kinds of documents your registered agent can receive, because this will help you understand why this role is so critical. First and foremost, importantly, lawsuits, summons, and complaints. If someone sues your business, the paperwork is delivered to your registered agent. This is how you officially find out you're being sued. Subpoenas are requests for documents or testimony in legal proceedings. Official state correspondence from your state's business filing office are things like confirmation that your annual report was received or that it's due, or that something needs your attention, as well as a registered agent will receive tax notices from both state and federal authorities on your behalf. They will send you compliance reminders, once again, to let you know that your annual report is due or that your business status is about to lapse. Another document that registered agents will receive on behalf of your business will be your annual report. They can actually complete your annual report for you, of course, if you choose for them to handle that. And then I want you to imagine your current registered agent missing even one of these documents. What do you think will happen, or what happens if you don't know you're being sued? I think it would be something similar to what happened to Sarah, in which, she had a default judgment put against her. But what happens also as a business owner if you miss a tax notice? What happens if your business loses good standing because you didn't file your annual report? Now, these aren't minor inconveniences, and in these cases, these are business ending problems, and every single one of them is preventable if you have a reliable registered agent. So, can someone knock on your business's door at 2 p.m. on a random Tuesday and find someone there to sign for legal documents? If you're like most small business owners, the answer is probably not. You're at client meetings, you're making sales calls, you're picking up supplies, you're on job sites, and you're just wearing all of the hats that it requires us business owners to wear. However, some of these responsibilities carry legal consequences that can't be overlooked. So when you can't receive important documents like notifications of you being sued or if something urgent arrives, you might not know until it's too late. So you're probably wondering, can you be your own registered agent? I know these were one of the options that we had listed earlier on our quiz or poll that we took. And the answer is yes, The short answer is yes. You can legally be your own registered agent in most cases. The better question is, should you be your own registered agent? So now let's look at what's required. Your registered agent must be available at a physical street address, not a PO box, a physical street address. And they should be available during all normal business hours, which typically fall in between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. So if you're out of the office for a meeting, if you're at lunch, if you're traveling for business or on vacation, dealing with a family emergency like Sarah, or legal documents are delivered at that time, what happens in between 9 and 5? So if there's no one there to accept them at the address that you have currently listed as your registered agent, that means you've missed those documents. And in the eyes of the law, delivery to your registered agent address is sufficient notice. So whether you actually receive the documents or not, they don't care. Also, when you act as your own registered agent, your home address or business address becomes part of the public record, and anyone can look it up. So that is something that I also advise businesses to keep track of and be mindful of. And with that being said, we'll talk more about privacy in a moment. But for many business owners, this alone is reason enough to use a professional service. So some of us are operating as sole proprietors, sorry, but most of us also formed an LLC or a corporation, and we specifically did so to create a formal entity legally that separates us from our business. And this is one of the most powerful protections available to entrepreneurs to protect your personal assets, such as your home, your car, your personal savings, your 401k, from your business liabilities. And if someone sues your business, they're generally suing the business entity and not you personally. At least that's normally the case. However, when you use your own registered agent, you run the risk of dissolving that protection by using your own personal address and being your own registered agent, which is something a lot of people don't know. But by being your own registered agent and not maintaining those personal boundaries between yourself and your business, you blur the lines and you risk something called piercing the corporate veil. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with it, but I know a lot of people talk about it when you talk about mixing your money and commingling your funds. So with that being said, in this context, that means a court could decide your business isn't really separate from you, and then suddenly your assets are at risk. That is a problem. So the other thing is there's a privacy problem that you run the risk of. A lot of business owners are surprised to learn that when you designate yourself or your home as your registered agent, that address becomes part of your official state filing. And those filings are public records for the entirety of your business being active. So that means your home address appears on the Secretary of State's website, in public databases, on search engines, and eventually even commercial mailing lists. And I don't know about you, but I don't like receiving spam, but that's what happens. So I've had clients tell me stories about getting unwanted solicitations, having strangers show up to their home for business purposes, and then that's how they lose any separation between their personal life and their business life. And for some entrepreneurs, especially those who work from home or have families, this is a significant concern. And it's not just about your convenience, it's also about your safety and security and that of your family. However, if you were to use a professional registered agent service, they would use their address and they wouldn't use yours. Your privacy would be protected, and you'll get to keep your home address private while still maintaining your legal requirements. So this is especially important if you're a business owner where you might face unhappy customers or clients. Maybe you're a lawyer and you made someone upset, or if you're using your home address as your registered agent address, and maybe you, I don't know, sold some products that didn't do what the customer said that, or what the customer needed it to do, and the customer is mad at you. I'm sure you don't want your home address to be public information. So do you really want every person you've ever done business with to have your home address? Or also, do you want to potentially run the risk of piercing the corporate veil and using that protection that you get as being an LLC? I would say probably not. And in this case, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So I think this actually might be a good time for me to tell you about the requirements for our DMV area and give specific information about how registered agents work and differ in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So in DC, business filings are handled by the Department of Licensing and Consumer Protection, also known as DLCP. There, you can designate an officer, director, or employee as your registered agent, as long as they have a DC address. Service can be accepted by any person of suitable age and discretion at whatever address you have listed. But if anything changes as far as their address or your registered agent changes, you need to update it within 30 days. And I will speak ahead and let you know that DC is a little bit more lenient than Maryland and Virginia. So in Maryland, it's managed by the State Department of Assessments and Taxation, which is, I say SSTAT. So if you need a registered agent in Maryland, it needs to be a Maryland resident or an authorized business entity. And service can be accepted by any responsible person at that registered address. And then in Virginia, your registered agent and or updates are handled by the State Corporation Commission, which is the SEC. And like the others, you do need a Virginia resident or authorized business entity to act as your registered agent. Now, Virginia is the one that's the most strict out of DC, Maryland, and Virginia. They prefer to have a designated registered agent be a member of the Virginia State Bar or a member of your business's management. So it can't be your office manager. It can't be a receptionist. When I say part of your business management team, I mean it has to be the director or the president of the company itself. And if anyone, of course, needs me to clarify later, we can do so during the Q&A section. So they prefer to have the named agent or designated person receive documents rather just anyone in the office. And if you don't know how to check any of those, you can easily go on like the SEC's website and you can see who is your current listed registered agent. So no matter what state you're in, the consequences of missing legal documents are the same. It triggers a domino effect in your business. So, and one of those things is you could automatically receive default judgments, similar to what happened to Sarah. She didn't respond in time to the notice that came to her home. And because of that, it resulted in a default judgment of her paying the $45,000. So if you're sued and you don't respond, the court will rule against you automatically. You don't get to present your side, you lose by default, and it's just like an uncomfortable situation to be in, as well as costly. A second way that your business can be affected is administrative dissolution, which means you'll miss your annual report or client compliance notices. And so the state will dissolve your business and you will lose your good standing. And this actually happened with a previous client that I had. In the chaos of him moving offices, he forgot to update his registered agent address with the state. And so the state sent annual reports to the old address. He didn't receive them. They sent several compliance notices. So of course he didn't pay it. And what ended up happening was the state of Virginia actually dissolved his LLC for failure to file his annual reports. And Marcus actually, he didn't have any idea. And the only reason why he found out is because when he had applied to get a contract, and he was awarded the contract initially, but when the agency did their due diligence to find out if his business was in good standing, it wasn't. So he lost out on that contract. So it was very, very unfortunate. So some of the other things that you miss by not having a registered agent or how it could affect you is your legal documents and personal liability. Like I said, with Marcus, he did lose contracts. And we know that government agencies and large corporations require proof that your business is in good standing before they'll work with you. So if you can't provide that, you'll lose opportunities. And furthermore, people don't realize that you could also have tax penalties and lose your licenses depending on what industry you're in. So if you hold professional licenses or certifications, they require your business to be in good standing. And if you lose that, you might not be able to practice. So be careful. Okay, I know this a lot, but let's flip this around and talk about protection rather than the risk of not having a registered agent. A professional registered agent service provides reliable receipt of all documents during business hours. You're not dependent on being in the office, being home, or remembering to check your mail. You get immediate notification. Most registered agent services will actually scan documents and email them to you the same day that they're received on your behalf. Some even text you when some mail arrives. So you'll know right away if something important is addressed to your business. So also another thing is the professional registered agent service uses their own address. So that means your own personal or home address isn't used. And like I said, I mentioned earlier, sometimes they'll actually pay your annual reports for you on your behalf. So it's not like you have to worry about your business losing your good standing status. So I want all of you to think of a registered agent as your business's shield. They stand between you and potential legal problems. They make sure nothing slips through the cracks. And if you expand to multiple states, they can serve as your registered agent in each state. Another benefit is that you'll have one person providing all these services to you rather than trying to coordinate different agents in different locations. What I mean by that is if you are a business registered in DC, but you also are foreign qualified or registered to do business in Virginia or Maryland, you can hire one company to be a registered agent in all 3 states. And yes, that is a requirement. If you are doing business in another state other than where your business is actually registered, you have to have foreign qualification in those other states. So when exactly do you need a registered agent? Well, I told you this is a requirement that you have to have throughout the entirety of your business. So, but the beginning stages is at formation. So when you first sign up for business, you'll need a registered agent right away. You cannot file your LLC or corporation documents without designating a registered agent. And it's literally one of the required fields on your formation paperwork. I'm sure all of you know that already because you're established businesses. So it's also an ongoing thing. You must maintain a registered agent, like I mentioned before. This isn't something you can just drop once your business is established. As long as your business exists, you need one. So when you move, if you're acting as your own agent or if your agent changes addresses, you must update that information with the state within 30 days. Most of them is within 30 days. And if you miss that deadline, you're risking miscommunications as well as fees and penalties for that. So after all of this, if you have decided that using a professional service is best for you, I strongly encourage you to look for reliability, look for companies that have been around for a while, check the reviews, and also talk with other business owners about who they use. Second, make sure you have an actual physical presence in your state. Some companies are virtual and they'll contract with local services, but they all do the same thing. So find out if and when a document arrives, if you would receive an email, text alert, or same day. Just got to figure out what registered agent service actually works best for you. And also find out if they have a secure online portal where you can log in and access your documents anytime. So the bigger picture is, I just want to zoom out for a bit because I know this is a lot of information, but the bigger picture is a registered agent fits into compliance. Your registered agent is a part of a larger system that keeps your business in good standing with your state. So maintaining good standing requires several things. You need a current registered agent on file with the state at all times. You need to file timely annual reports. These are due every year, except for in DC, it's by every 2 years. But you need to make sure you pay your state fees on time, and you need to keep your business information updated. So once again, if your business address changes, if your registered agent changes, you need to notify the state, and you need to do so quickly. So here's how all these connect. Your registered agent receives the notices telling you when these other things are due. Think of them as your early warning system. Your registered agent is your compliance partner. They're the first line of defense in protecting your business's status. And when all of these pieces work together, when you have a reliable agent, when you file your annual reports, and when you keep information current, your business maintains good standing. And good standing matters. And if for those of you who don't know what good standing means, that means you can enter into contracts. It means you can get business licenses. It means you can open bank accounts. You can get funding. It means you can sue someone if you need to, but it also means you get to maintain your limited liability protection. And once you lose good standing, suddenly a lot of doors close for you, and the registered agent helps keep those doors open. So I know that was a lot of information, and I thank you for sticking with me. And after hearing all of this information, some of you are probably thinking, okay, but what should I do for my situation? So here's what I'm offering. I have a few slots available today to do free 15-minute consultations with any of you who want one. So together we can actually look up your current registered agent status and discuss your options based on your specific situation, your budget, your business structure, and your growth plans. If you're interested, you can schedule it now using this QR code. But in the meantime, I'll leave this up for a minute or so. But let's move to questions. Team, are there any already in the chat?
No, there's
Okay,
nothing currently there, so let's give them a couple of minutes to put something there.
sounds good. I know I gave out a lot of information, so if there's no questions, I actually take that as I'll be happy. Maybe I gave them answered all the questions they needed.
Well, Amanda, this is Michelle, and I'm going to tell you this information here. I've learned some things today, right? So I'm going to say this. I'm definitely going to need you to come back and do this again because I didn't know the importance of having a registered agent. Like when you start talking about legal requirements and things that can happen, I mean, even the small part about the address, right? That's really important because it's almost like, well, if I have my personal residence and then it becomes public. I mean, I know people can get your address, but it's not that easy. It's not that public. You know what I'm saying? So it made me start thinking when you were like talking about that. Now, I'm gonna tell you, the responsibilities part that you talked about, now that right there is something because it's almost so they're just as responsible as the owner. Because that's what I started thinking about when you were listing, like, things that they could receive that's critical information. So, I mean, there has to be a trust thing there.
Yes, and that's why it's very important for you to, if you go with like a professional registered agent service, that's why it's important for you to pick one that you have done your research on, that they are reliable and that they can get any information that's important for you to have to you as soon as possible. And I'll be honest, I learned the hard way. So when I first started out in business, yes, I did the annual, I registered my business, everything was fine. But the person who actually helped me register my business listed me as the registered agent. So they listed my home address because they didn't actually break down to me what that meant. So I was
Uh-huh.
my own registered agent. And then I would get these letters in the mail. It was probably about a year later. I started getting the annual reports and I didn't know what it was for. I thought it was spam. So I just ripped it up, threw it away. But then I had checked the SEC site just because I'm a little bit of a compliance nerd. So I just checked it and I was like, oh wait, my business isn't in good standing. What is it? Why not? I thought I paid for it.
Right.
And I'm thinking you pay for it once you're good. But clearly that wasn't the case, and my business had actually dissolved. So
Oh my God.
I had to contact the SEC again, repay those dues, and I get it cleared up. And then I changed my registered agent to a company, someone else who can handle it, because I'm not home 9 to 5.
Yes, yes.
And honestly, I wasn't even still staying at that address, so I was just so confused.
Wow. Now, well, hey, that's an experience, look, to teach us about and to talk about. Because I'm gonna tell you that trust thing, I guess that's what makes people really think, oh, I'm just gonna put down myself. But like you said, we can't always be right there.
Yeah.
And like when you read that story in the beginning about, well, that was time sensitive
Hmm.
documents that had been received. And it's almost like, well, if I go on vacation, what happens, right? I mean, it just makes you think about those little things that you said. Like, I've never thought about that. Oh, wow. This information here, this is like dropping big buck information because I don't know if, I mean, because you know how you say sometimes it's the small things that can glitch a business, and like the business could be so successful, all these things are going great, and that small little entity about a registered agent like that could just pull the business down. It could like you said, it could shut it down. It could just make so many things happen, and it's not something that you would just think about.
Exactly. The other gentleman that I mentioned also, you would think like I said, when we start businesses, we are active in the business. We are wearing,
Mm-hmm.
we don't realize all the things. Like you don't know what you don't know. But the
Right.
other gentleman that I mentioned, Marcus, his business was doing great, still operating. I think he was a 3-person team at the time, but he was going after that government contract. That contract was literally,
Okay. Okay.
he lost $5 million because he didn't know he had to pay that annual report, and it went to the old address, so he didn't know when it was time to pay it.
Oh
So
my God.
$5 is a lot of money now. So yeah, you can
Yes, that is.
imagine. Yes,
$5 million is something that most small businesses will put in their strategy to say, okay, in 5 to 10 years, where do I want to be? And so that $5 million becomes one of the gold standards as far as, hey, as a small business, when do I want to be able to say I can make my first $5 million? But then to totally lose, that's a lot.
it is.
That is a lot because that can make a business go under.
It can. It can. It can. But thankfully,
Mm,
he fixed it. He applied for another grant and he got that. So he was another contract and he got that. So that's good. But not everyone else is always so lucky. So yeah.
okay.
We have two
I'm gonna,
questions.
thanks, Mark. I'm about to ask you that.
We have two questions in the chat. The first one being, how long does it take to change your registered agent?
So about 7 to 10 business days from as far as the process. So if you, for example, hire another professional registered agent service, they will do it on your behalf, and you should see the changes within the next 7 to 10 business days. If you go on your state's website and you change it yourself, it will be around the same time frame. I will say Virginia is a little bit faster, and I only know that just because I'm a Virginia resident, but also when I process things for clients, Virginia seems to tend to be a bit faster, but on average, 7 to 10 business days.
Thank you. Second question. What is the difference between a registered agent and the principal office? I work from home and want to receive documents here, but also want to protect my home address. I'm based in Maryland.
Mhm. So the principal office is the address that you'll put on file. And it sounds like if you are home-based and you want to use the office, you said in Maryland, you should use the business office and not your home address at all. I hope that helped. If not, if I need to clarify a bit more, let me know.
Thank you, Amanda. There's no other questions in the chat. Turning it over back to Michelle.
Thank you so much, Marlo. Boy, I just love my team. I tell you, Marlo is our manager, and she she manages all of us when it comes to when it comes to this type of stuff. She is just awesome. Thank you so much, Marlo. But you know what? I want to say thank you, Amanda.
Oh,
Thank you, thank you. This was awesome presentation. Good educational information, girl, because like I said, you have me thinking, you got me thinking. And you know, I'm constantly meeting different business people. And so I want this to be a topic of a conversation that I bring up because I need to direct them in your way. This here, yeah, this had me thinking. So it made me, like I said, the responsibility stuff made me think about trust. Like really, because you know, as small businesses, we have trust issues. You know, we want to make sure that we're not just exposing our internal information to anybody, you know, so this whole thing about having a registered agent, it just really made me think about the definition of what that is, that responsibility part, and that made me go into the whole trust thing. And then I'm looking at all the legal requirements, right? So I'm like, yeah, this is not something that I should take lightly. It is something that, you know, really needs to be thought out. It may be talked out, right? Because we as business owners don't have all the answers. That's why we come to people like you. That's why we come to people like you. So anyway, in closing, I want to say thank you so much for this awesome presentation. Thank you as well, Charles. I appreciate you bringing our dear Amanda Veal on spot today. This was so good. Foremost, I want to make sure that I thank the Small Business Programs Office Certification and Outreach Team. Of course, our leader, Ms. Marlo Johnson. She is awesome, making sure that we do these outreaches every year and bring this educational information to everyone. I also want to say thank you to Michael, Alicia, Shanae, Sierra, Heather, and Shalonda. This is the team with Marlo who works hand in hand to bring these opportunities. I also hope you were able to learn something. Everyone who attended today, I hope you were able to learn something to help your business grow. And we do look forward to seeing you at our upcoming outreaches. Please make sure that you scan the code that you see because we always try to make sure there's some educational opportunities for you in the outreaches that we do. We also on January 27th, I just want to plug in for our procurement team. We have the Metro Procurement Fair. It's going to be at the hotel at the University of Maryland from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So check out the website, you know, and make sure that you get registered. All of the procurement folks will be there and we will be there, the Small Business Programs Office. So look forward to seeing you guys in person. If you haven't met us, you know, we want to see you in person there. And remember, you know, certification can be the key to participation. So we do look forward to having you check out our website to see our programs that you can be certified in. And I want to make sure to tell all of you, have a great rest of your day. It's always a joy to connect with you and to make sure you're receiving what you need for your business. I'm Michelle Howard, Director of Small Business Programs Office, and I am going to sign out. Thank you.
That concludes our presentation. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you at our next virtual outreach. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to ride Metro.